I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you'll please remain standing and join me for the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thank you all.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Our next public workshop will be Tuesday, July 23rd, 10:30 a.m. in this room. Our next regular meeting will be Wednesday, July 24th, 10:30 a.m. also in this room. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Here.
Frenchco.
Here.
Malloy.
Here.
Item number 1 is to dispense with reading the minutes of the regular meeting dated July 10th, 2024, and accept and approve the video recordings of the meeting as the official meeting minutes.
Motion to approve?
Second the motion?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because they're done incorrectly and people's names aren't stated before they speak and the video skips and the transcribed version is done via AI and doesn't include correct names and there are so many mistakes and it doesn't comply with the ORC, no.
Item number 2 is to approve the bills.
Motion to approve?
Second the motion?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 3 is to approve transfer of appropriations.
Make a motion to approve?
Second the motion?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 4 is to amend the resolution dated May 8th, 2024, item number 23, to declare Warren Roofing and Insulating Company to be the best value for the roof replacement project at the Trumbull County Engineers Cortland Garage and authorize Mike Slawinski, PE, to commence contract negotiations with Warren Roofing and Insulating Company for the purpose of determining the total design build service fees cost and to approve an expenditure for design service fees in an amount of $65,308. Amendment is necessary to correct the vendor name to Xterra Building Solutions LLC, utilizing the same address as listed so that all documentation is consistent, and to further authorize Denny Malloy, President of the Board, to execute any and all documents required for this agreement.
Motion to approve?
Second the motion?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 5 is to amend the resolution dated May 15th, 2024, agenda item number 10, to approve change order number 2 with Integra Excavating LLC for the Trumbull County Fairgrounds Commercial Building Restroom Upgrade Project in the amount of $12,707.50. Amendment is necessary to correct the total contract amount to $238,223.62.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Discussion on this one. Does anyone have a copy of the change order that we're approving? We're approving, this is an item to approve a change order that the Board of Commissioners wasn't even furnished. Anytime there's a change order, agreement, addendum, that's a modification to a contract and needs to be done ahead of the work. And I haven't received anything, nor has the board. Alls we know and have read is the agenda item. So I would like to know if the board has a copy of the change order that we're approving. Does anyone have this?
I was out at the fair and I discussed it personally with Mr. Hart, and I understand it's electrical upgrades. It went over a little bit with the having to add the electrical service to make sure it was compliant, and I have no problem with it. It's $12,000.
I think you're missing the you're missing this. It's not a matter of discussion. It's a matter.
I'm not a teacher that's sitting there grading every department head's paperwork and
It's
giving them an A, B,
It's
C,
not-
D, or
it's
whatever. That's not
about
what we
grading,
do.
It's about following proper procedure. You have to approve the change order formally. And if that happened, why wasn't it on the agenda last week or added on or a motion from, we don't have, you're right now voting on something that you haven't seen. And that's foolish and it's irresponsible. So none of us, it sounds like none of us have received anything except for the language right here, correct?
Right.
Commissioners, if
Oh,
I can
Okay. No,
add
actually.
to that, please.
N-
This amendment is simply the result of our accounts payable clerk, Shara Taylor, finding a mistake in the calculation of the total contract amount.
We have not, and that's great, but we
Would you
don't.
like me to have her come in and explain it to you further?
You're not, your job as a clerk is to be quiet, call the roll, read the items, not to engage.
You're
this-
being out of line, Commissioner.
I'd like to make a point of order because the meeting is for the executive body. Any other comments are by invitation of the.
Call the
board.
question,
Any-
please.
Oh, yeah, call the vote.
it-
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Only because we have absolutely nothing related to this item except for what's before the public. I have to vote no.
Item number 6 is to concur with the Trumbull County Engineer to grant the right-of-way permits requested by the company listed, and that is AMS 2024 BTS.
Motion to approve?
Second in discussion. Commissioner, do you have any copies of these permits that you're about to vote on? To see copies of the written copies of the permits?
Did you see them?
It's the same thing. You just brought it up on the
I'm
last
asking-
item.
So I'm asking you, have you read them?
I have read them. I see them on here, but I don't see copies
Have
of
you seen
them.
copies of them? Okay,
It's the same exact thing you said for the previous agenda item.
right.
But this is the county engineer's one, so you don't have to see the permit. You don't want to see it.
I've
You don't
read-
have copies of it?
I've read them all and it's evident that you haven't.
Oh, do you have copies of them, just like you asked?
Right.
I don't believe you do.
They're in your email. Maybe if you would check if you'd see them.
Copies of the permit itself
Yes.
are in the email.
Yes.
Okay.
Copies of everything, the requests that for the permit, the letter from the engineer to the requester. Those are all in the file that are marked approved. If you would actually go through them instead of just rubber stamping.
In the
you'd see
email
what's
that we received as 3 commissioners, this is
Right.
in our email.
Right.
Okay, we'll look after the meeting. and see.
Them are.
Okay.
Maybe you should look before the meetings. That would be helpful. I mean, it would be due diligence and it would be what's responsible. But I wouldn't expect that of you because people work differently. Some people work, some people just rubber stamp.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 7 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the special hauling permits to haul steel coils requested by the company listed, and that's J-Row Transportation Services, Inc.
A motion to approve?
Second the motion.
So everything that I do, I take notes on my agenda and I check mark even the little permits. So every.
Right, so you have a copy of the permit for Jero Transportation?
And so do you. It sounds like you just rubber stamped that. Yeah. So here are my check marks because that means
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
yes.
Item number 8 is to authorize the transfer of William Court, plant maintenance worker at the Sanitary Engineers Department. Current pay range 8/2368 per hour to the position of Maintenance Repair Worker 1 at the Building Maintenance Department, pay range 8/2368 per hour. Mr. Court will begin his new duties effective Monday, July 22nd, 2024.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 9 is to approve the promotion of Ms. Ashley Dorsey as a Training Officer 1, non-bargaining employee with the Trumbull County Department of Job and Family Services effective August 5th, 2024. Ms. Dorsey will be paid $23.9602 per hour with county benefits and will serve a 9-month probationary period.
Motion to approve?
Second that?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 10 is to amend a resolution adopted on April 10th, 2024, authorizing the appropriation of funds to mitigate growth and negative impact of spread of hydrilla in Mosquito Lake in the amount of $300,000 to be paid in 3 annual installments starting in 2024, to be used by the Trumbull County Economic Development Director, Nick Coggins, for the purpose of processing and paying invoices reviewed and approved by the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, to make payments directly to the state purchasing selected vendor, Ohio Lake Management Services, doing business as Aqueduct Lake and Pond Management, who is under contract with ODNR to conduct fluoridone chemical treatment that addresses the aquatic nuisance vegetation issue at Mosquito Lake. Amendment is necessary to change the method of payment to be paid directly to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, who will pay the vendor under contract to conduct the fluoridone chemical treatment, and to change the memorandum of understanding to an interagency agreement prepared by the Ohio Department of Natural Resources between Trumbull County and Ohio Department of Natural Resources, removing the vendor Ohio Lake Management Services, doing business as Aqua Lake, Dock Lake, and Pond Management.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Nick, do you have a copy of the memorandum of understanding as well?
Commissioner Frenchco, yes, we actually received the final copy last night. This is something that's happening very fluidly. There is a draft, and I have the email printed out from Mr. Danzo reviewing to form that he is okay with the draft, and I have a final copy that I received last night. That's why it's not in your packet or emails, but I do have a copy with me.
They don't look at those things, but I do. So did you
Yes.
bring a copy for the board today, knowing that you just received it?
Yes, I do have a copy in my binder with me, yeah. But I only have one copy. I can make copies if you would like
I'd
everybody to see it.
I think that we should see it before we vote on it. And we're also supposed to make sure that those things are present before they get added to the agenda pursuant to our county's policy. That nothing should be added unless the supporting documentation about what we're voting on is included. And that's an error of the clerk. Thank you. And it also requires that this, something from the prosecutor's office be uploaded as well.
It would have been really nice if you would have attended one single hydrilla meeting that we had. And we had about
Right.
11 of them.
Okay.
It would have been nice if you'd attended one.
Okay, our job as commissioners is to make sure that we contract on behalf of everyone and we do it correctly. So it would be nice if you would read at least one thing that you.
Call the
wrote.
vote.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
I have to abstain because I was only given the information now. Unfortunately, the board just rubber stamps everything, but yeah, I just got this. So I'm gonna-
Item
you.
number 11 is to amend a resolution dated June
You're
28th,
gonna need
2024
signatures
for the
Hang on a
Howland
second,
Scope.
Hang on a second. I'm sorry, Nick, so this is what you're gonna need signatures on as well? Okay.
Nick, can you please take that back and make copies? Last time we gave her paperwork, she never gave them back to the clerk. And that was just a couple weeks ago. So please take them with you now. She,
Okay.
do not leave this room without getting your paperwork, Nick, or you'll never see it again.
Item number 11 is to amend a resolution dated June 28th, 2024 for the Howland Scope Center parking lot resurfacing project funded through the PY 23 CDBG Community Development Grant Program, BF 231CS1, Project 1, Activity 2. Amendment is necessary to change the proposal due date from July 25th, 2024 at 3 p.m. to August 8th, 2024 by 3 p.m.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 12 is to authorize the advertisement of a public notice in a newspaper of general circulation published in the Tribune Chronicle on July 22nd, 2024, announcing the time frame for and location of the request for price proposal packages for the PY 22 Community Development Block Grant Critical Infrastructure Grant Program. And this is program number BX 221CS1. Townsend Avenue Storm Drainage Infrastructure Improvements Project. The Trumbull County Planning Commission will submit the advertisement through column and pay for the advertisement through the fund listed.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Just note there is a change. You did read it correctly with the 2022. Julie made a correction to that date. So as it's written here is 24, but you're correct in the way you read it.
Thank you.
Item number 13 is a routine liquor permit transfer from Deep Larchmont LLC to Adam May Inc., and this is in Howland Township.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to table agenda item 14 until next week. There are some, I know at least one individual is here to discuss these matters and the awards. And unfortunately, since the board has never agreed with me to allow people to have public discussion at the beginning of the meeting, they won't be able to discuss their concerns until after the meeting, and you all canceled your workshop, which prevented the board from being able to properly hear objections and changes requested to these items.
The workshop that you call illegal meetings every week.
I mean, I'm not here to try to be funny. This is a serious matter that affects the safety of senior citizens in Trumbull County. And I think that the Board of Commissioners needs to hear some concerns in the community relative to these matters. Maybe they'll be able to discuss them at the end of the meeting today. I think that would be good. So that being said, we'd be able to have this back on next week without any problems. And also that would afford, if we were to have a discussion and preliminarily agree on some things, that would afford the senior levy administrator the time to prepare the agreements with the amounts that we're going to approve.
I disagree. I think the fluidity of the agenda, we can vote on this today with the entire senior council and Diane voting for it. If there's a discrepancy along the line, next week, we can always
I
amend
think
it.
that you're missing it. Just as last year, you guys decided to go against the senior levy council because one person came in and didn't get what they wanted for their center. This is something that is of grave concern, and it relates to the safety of senior citizens and adult
The
protection.
entire senior advisory council and Diane is recommending that we pass
And we
this.
did that last
So if
year,
we
and you
need to-
still changed it.
Can I
You
please
still
finish?
changed it.
Can I please finish?
Actually, you're contradicting
Can I
yourself.
please finish?
Commissioner Cantala
Yeah,
Mesa has the floor.
you can contradict yourself. Go ahead.
I'm saying that if something needs amended, we could amend it at the next meeting, but in the meantime, we should pass this
That's
today.
silly.
It's not silly. That's
It
how
is
business
silly.
works.
It
Actually.
is silly. We actually don't need to have this done right away. It's July. We have time, so we have the ability to hear from other people, and that would also give other entities an opportunity to discuss their concerns as well.
Call the question.
So I'm gonna,
Can I would like to, so
She made a motion. We had discussion. We'll take that discussion as a second. So let's vote on Commissioner Frenchco's motion.
Ms. Frenchco,
yes.
Cantala Mesa.
No.
No.
Item
Item-
number,
Oh, okay, go ahead.
item number 14 is to concur with Senior Services Advisory Councils and Diane Siskowick-Jerkovic, Senior Levy Administrator's recommendations for distribution of senior levy dollars to the agencies as listed for the term effective September 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2026, unless otherwise noted.
Motion to approve.
Second the motion.
To ask for discussion, I'd like to invite anyone who's here who has some concerns about their agency organization to explain.
I'll allow that during discussion if they can give them 2 minutes apiece.
Oh, I don't know who all's here, so. Oh, okay. So he's allowing discussion.
If someone wants to speak on behalf of this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I don't see anybody getting up. If anyone wants to approach the mic and you're,
Speak, you walk
Commissioner,
over
I got
and
the
speak.
floor.
Okay, just letting you know.
Sir, please announce who you are and who you represent and where you're from.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is John Garris, the Executive Director of Guardianship and Protective Services. And I appreciate the moment to speak this morning in support of the Senior Advisory Council's decisions and proposals. Our organization, Guardianship and Protective Services, serves around 120 senior citizens on a daily basis with guardianship and protective services under the jurisdiction of Judge Frederica's probate court. There are no other funding sources for us to provide such substantial services to the most vulnerable seniors in our county. We very much appreciate the past support of the committee and the public in general and the commissioners, and just hope that will continue.
Thank you.
Are you
Sir.
included on here for an amount that you
Yes, our organization, along with Direction Home, appears at the beginning of item 14.
satisfied with the amounts?
We can work within that realm. We, of course, would enjoy more funding, but we do appreciate the committee's work and their efforts and appreciate the commissioner's decision should they support this today.
And the amount is enough for you to continue your services?
We can maintain the services at their current level.
Okay. Will you explain what you do? Because when you say providing services, I don't know that everyone knows what.
Certainly, guardianship in general is a legal proceeding before the court, where when the court makes the determination that someone's unable to make informed decisions for themselves, there is a removal of certain rights, and a guardian or guardians are appointed to carry out day-to-day decision-making under the jurisdiction and the guidance of the court. That can include day-to-day healthcare decision-making. We direct the provision of meals for folks, where they live, where they seek care. We deal with very dysfunctional families at times, because the cases that we are taking on, there are no other individuals to serve, either because there's no family available or the court has made a determination that there's no other suitable individual or organization to serve.
Thank you.
Every aspect of a senior's life potentially is something that we are forced to become involved with. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Morning. My name is Teresa Knappich. I'm the director of the Ombudsman Program with Direction Home of Eastern Ohio. I'm here today to talk about the importance of continued funding for protective services. So the Ombudsman Program, we advocate for excellence in care for residents residing in nursing homes, assisted livings, and group homes. And we do that by helping to resolve complaints, investigating, et cetera. Levy Dollars has supported our program since at least 2011, which we greatly appreciate. And we've been able to dedicate one full-time employee to handle the concerns that come up in Trumbull County facilities. Unfortunately, in Trumbull County, we have 37 facilities and 82% of them right now have ombudsman involvement, meaning that we have concerns voiced from residents or family members at those facilities. It is the highest county of complaints that come in from the 4 counties that we service. There are very serious concerns. We're not just talking about food-related concerns. We're talking about physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, wound care not being done, wound care is generated from nursing homes not providing proper care. And so the importance of our program and us being there, some of these residents are forgotten and they don't have family or anyone to stand up for them. Levy Dollars have allowed us to continue funding our ombudsman in that county, and they've also allowed us to be able to handle crises that come up. Unfortunately, sometimes closures happen or evacuations, so we've been able to participate in that because of the levy funding. Without the funding, we will most certainly lose a staff member, so we certainly hope that you will consider funding us so we can continue services.
The amounts and that you were in award.
Yes,
Potential, is that adequate?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Thank you for your time.
Sure, I'm very concerned about it, the
Yes,
adult.
we could work with that also.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Anybody else want discussion on this?
I'd like to make sure, so from Diane, there's going to be a subsequent agenda item with the agreement. Is there going to be a?
You have to approach the
a
mic, please, Diane.
subsequent
Diane, you have to approach the mic or it's not going to be recorded.
It was a specific question and
I'm following the same process.
Diane, announce who you are.
I'm
please.
Diane Siskowicz-Jerkovic, Senior Levy Administrator. I'm following the same process since we've started this program. In 2022, it became a little different with Commissioner Frenchco being on the board. She voted yes in 2022 using this same process. I give all of you the grading scales by the council members. I give you the recommendation from those council members, and I give you a draft agreement as approved by the prosecutor. That's something we started in 2022. I do not fill out each agreement as per this agenda item because I don't know how you're going to award. I don't know the dollar amounts. I don't know if you're going to change it. I don't know what the agenda journal volume date is to put on that agreement. So I've given you a draft. You will then, this is the process, you will then approve or make changes. From there, I send the drafts completed based on what you approve, the actual agreements, and then it goes through the process of the auditor, the prosecutor, each vendor, and then you have the final signature to fully execute that contract.
so is it going back on the agenda again? Because it seems like it's missing a
No.
step. Okay, so that's where the problem is. And if you look at, I see his face
This is the
back
same
there.
language
Hang on.
that we've
I
had.
see, I understand that, and even if you look at how Gary Newbrow does things, they determine the amount that they're going to award, and then they issue a contract or an agreement, and so the agreement needs to be approved by the Board of Commissioners. So in essence, to have this written as it is, it's saying specifically, a recommendation for distribution of senior levy dollars, but it is not specifically approving an agreement. And that's something that should occur.
And
That's what
year
I'm saying.
2022,
You
we
know,
had
I'm
to
not gonna
change,
argue with
okay.
you. I'm suggesting that
I-
no, Diane, I
Fine.
saw the time, look, you're.
Danny
I
Malloy,
saw
can I
your-
explain,
I
please?
saw
Sure can.
your-
You have the floor. Commissioner. Commissioner. She has the floor.
Respect and love.
2022,
She has the
we
floor,
changed the
Commissioner.
language from agreement to distribution, and then it got approved. Last year, we used distribution. It got approved. Now we're changing it back to agreement, distribution, and agreement. Then you'll say you don't have an agreement.
If there's an agreement, you need to have that approved by the Board of Commissioners.
You
That's-
have the draft agreement.
No, I don't think that you're understanding. There needs to be journal action that says that there was agreement that was, why is TikTok nodding? No, No, this is ridiculous.
Commissioner, this is your opinion. You voted one way and another way, and you're just trying to take the floor to get airtime.
Let's get Bill Danzo because
Bill Danzo has approved it in the past.
where is the approval?
Let's move on,
Right,
please.
change. I'm saying you guys are.
Commissioner, you're rambling on and on and on. I
Bill
need to
Danzo
remind
has
you-
approved it. The prosecutor's office has approved it. Let's move on.
He's voting to distribute funds without contracting, and that's wholly wrong. I feel like I'm living in an alternate universe or banana republic of sorts, but okay, go ahead.
Okay, for item number 14, Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
I'm abstaining because we have no input from the auditor, or I'm sorry, from the prosecutor's office saying that it's okay to spend money without having an actual contract. I'm not disagreeing with the services that are provided, but I am disagreeing with the process that should include a contract.
So you're disagreeing with the way you voted two times already. So you think you voted wrong twice? In 22 and 23, you voted wrong.
I'm allowed to assert my reason for disagreeing,
Okay.
and it's not time for discussion, so go ahead.
Item number 15 is to request.
Sorry.
Item number 15 is to request that the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners replace the end-of-life batteries in the amount of $12,920 for UPS systems in the Trumbull County Jail security camera systems. The replacement work will be performed by Security Automation Systems. And I'm going to read the note. These batteries were original to the 4-mil jail security upgrade project in 2020. We run the risk of a catastrophic incident that could potentially cost the county hundreds of thousands of dollars due to the batteries not being sufficient.
Okay, I was going to read this with the correction, but I will make a motion to modify this in order to reflect the correct amount, which is $12,320. That's what's on the quote.
Major Mason, is that the correct amount?
I can give you, I have a copy of it. I mean, here, let me just. say
Commissioner,
this.
let him have the
And-
floor.
and
This
my
isn't the
point-
Nikki show.
Wait a
You need
minute.
to shut your mouth up here when it's not your turn.
Wait a second.
You can't speak out of turn and think you're running the show. You're not.
Hold on.
You're under censure of the board also, I want to remind you.
I-
Sit there and go along with what we
Don't
need to do
care. The truth
and be a
is,
commissioner.
I wanted to say, it's in your damn emails. If you read them, then you'd actually see the dollar amount because Major Mason.
Okay, do you want an
provided us
award? Do you want
copy
a
of it.
medal that you caught a
What?
mistake here?
So
Why did you
what?
say there's a
So
mistake on
what?
here?
I did.
You want to go up and do a dance, do a salsa in front around the room?
Oh,
Look what I did. I
salsa.
found a $300 or a $600
Something
misprint.
against
Not an
Major
error.
Come on.
Okay, so.
Major, go ahead.
Major
please.
Mason has the floor and only Major Mason.
A copy of it. I was just trying to correct it. It's this, right?
Yeah, Dan,
Okay.
Dan Mason, Trumbull County Sheriff's Office. Commissioner Frenchco, you are correct. The quote that you have was the original quote. However, there is an excluded, which I believe listed delivery and some other items, which I was informed by the board could not be used as a quote. So we requoted, which gave us a second price.
Where is that? Because we don't have it.
Major Mason, you could drop the mic and go back to your seat. Thank you
No,
for
I-
updating that.
Yeah,
We should have a copy of that. You know that. I mean, anytime something comes on, we're supposed to be provided it. That's what our jobs is. In absence of of an administrator, we need to be checking these things and.
yeah, I believe it was forwarded to the board, but I will
Let's move on.
send it again. Just one other that
Do
I'd
you
like
have
to
a copy of
add.
it today?
I do have one right now,
Can I
yes.
see it, please?
Yes.
So it's after this one.
Correct.
This date is 7/10 and this one is 7/12. Okay. And you just added, what was the addition?
Yeah, it was, I believe, delivery and a couple other items which.
An estimation, yes.
Okay. Thank you for.
Just
bringing
one
this
other
up.
thing, just
Do you need it back?
to be aware of, this was all based on a traffic crash that had occurred on July 4th, where an intoxicated driver took down a telephone pole and caused a surge in the jail. And during that surge, 4 of the batteries for the UPSs were completely damaged. So we are submitting a claim through Corsa to at least out of that $12,000 to try to get at least $4,000 reimbursed through insurance.
Thank you. Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 16 is to approve a school resource officer agreement between the Trumbull County Commissioners, Trumbull County Sheriff Paul Monroe, and the Matthews Local School District Board of Education for police protection and services for the Matthews Local School District, its building and activities, personnel, students, and public on site for the 2024-2025 academic fiscal school year, July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. The Matthews Local School District agrees to pay Trumbull County Sheriff's Office $63,578.58 due and payable at the end of the term of the contract. And the sheriff agrees to furnish 1 deputy to the Matthews Local School District.
Make a motion to approve?
Second the motion.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because I don't have a breakdown to see that the soft costs are included and the agreement of I'm going to abstain. I'd like to see things done more thoroughly with the breakdown of the costs and the date, the timing of things. The school board didn't sign it until it was approved by their board, the superintendent, but it seems that the sheriff's department isn't getting things done in a timely fashion and they're signing things in advance of the board's approval and it's a little wonky, so I just would rather abstain.
Item number 17 is to award the lowest and best bid response and to enter into a contract for construction of the Scoville Drive Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project, known as County Project Number 5-S-16, to Pollard Land Services, Inc., for the primary bid amount of $574,410 and the secondary bid amount concerning house connections of $101,195 for a total contract award of $675,605.
Make a motion to approve?
Second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 18 authorizing expenditures for revenue loss from American Rescue Plan Act funds for road repairs and for the purpose of entering into an RC 5535.08 road repair agreement with Vernon Township. And then on the next page, Commissioners, this involves the resurfacing of Township Highway 185C Bushnell Campbell between State Route 88, State Route 5, and Vernon Township. Improvements will include partial depth pavement repairs, 75-inch leveling intermediate course of asphalt, and a 1.25-inch asphalt surface course, in addition to compacted aggregate berms.
Motion to approve?
Oh, wait,
think she was
let her
done.
finish.
Sorry.
Get to the
I'm
amount.
sorry, I didn't-
Okay, I was just gonna read the.
I'm sorry.
The project is hereby authorized and shall be paid from the ARPA fund as listed in an amount of, or in an amount not to exceed $408,069.
Apologize. Motion to approve?
Second the motion?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 19, authorizing expenditure for responding to or mitigating the public health emergency from American Rescue Plan Act funds, Downtown Leavittsburg Improvement Association. And down toward the center, Commissioners, whereas it was subsequently determined that the legal entity to which county was allocating funds is known as the Downtown Leavittsburg Improvement Association, pursuant to the W-9 that was submitted, and whereas the county wishes to amend the May 22nd, 2024 agreement for the limited purpose of correcting the legal name of the entity to which the funds are being allocated.
Motion to approve?
Second that?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Commissioners, also, I've talked to, before we get into agenda item 20, I talked to April Caraway about the vacant position that we're talking about in agenda item 20. She said it's okay to hold off. I haven't reviewed all the applicants yet, and I'd like to suggest we table it so that I have more time to review, just for purposes of full transparency. That's my motion, to table it.
Go ahead and make a motion, a whole motion. I'll second.
Motion to table agenda item 20 to appoint Dr. Robert A. Walton, DDS, as a member of Trumbull County Mental Health and Recovery Board for a 4-year term commencing July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2028.
I'll second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
And
Yes.
Okay, so we will skip 20.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Item 21 is to record onto the journal for record purposes, the public official continuation certificate renewal bond number 62804-182 for John R. Gargano Esquire as Director of Trumbull County Department of Job and Family Services. The official bond continues indefinitely for the duration of Attorney Gargano's term of service. The bond is in the amount of $5,000 with an effective term commencing July 5th, 2024 through July 5th, 2025.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
yes.
Item 22 is to approve the promotion of Mrs. Sherry Four as an eligibility referral supervisor 1, non-bargaining employee with the Trumbull County Department of Job and Family Services effective July 22nd, 2024. Mrs. Four will be paid $26.59 per hour with full county benefits and is required to serve a 9-month probationary period.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Because I have a standing request for additional information related to these promotions and I didn't receive it and this one is extremely close, I'm going to abstain.
Item 23 is to approve the membership adjustment to the County Family Services Planning Committee. Mr. Timothy Schaffner, former Executive Director of Trumbull County Children's Services, is being removed from the committee due to his retirement. And Ms. Marilyn Pape, current Executive Director of Trumbull County Children's Services, will take his place on the County Family Services Planning Committee.
A motion to approve?
Second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item 24 is to receive and place on file for record purposes the Financial and Compliance Report, 2023 Annual Report for Shelters for Victims of Domestic Violence from Family and Community Services, Inc. and subsidiary Someplace Safe, filed in accordance with ORC Section 3113.39 and filed with the Ohio Attorney General's Office as submitted by Lauren Webb, Director of Someplace Safe.
Make a motion to approve?
Second the motion.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Okay, at this time, I'll make a motion to enter executive session pursuant to RC 121.22 G3 for a conference with an attorney for the Board of Commissioners concerning disputes involving the public body that is subject of pending or imminent court action to discuss the pending litigation that Ms. Frenchco has against the other two commissioners.
Second that.
And hang on, for discussion purposes, I want to know with clarity what the executive session is about, because originally it was stated that it was related to Lisa Blair's issue. And then now.
That was a separate, different one. That wasn't this one at all.
Is that supposed to be today?
No.
That doesn't, it's pending court action, that's all.
It was switched, and that's why I'm asking. So then, I wanted to also, in discussion right now, I want to say, Mauro and Denny had a duty to be prepared to testify on notice topics in a complete and in complete disregard for the court. They scoffed at both the court's power and they willfully disregarded.
I just want to remind you, that was a legal proceeding we were at Friday, and we were told that is, we'd be in contempt if we discussed anything that happened at that meeting. So go ahead. I'm just
Okay.
warning you.
And they scoffed at both the court's power and they willfully disregarded their duties under the law, which is a consistent pattern for their conduct. They were both supposed to testify as 30B5 witnesses, which means that they were to be prepared on notice topics, and they showed up for those proceedings completely unprepared.
You're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
This is your opinion, Commissioner, and you've been censored by the rest of the board, so.
Acknowledging on the record that they did nothing to prepare. So this is, right now, our legal counsel gave not only did they disregard the Ohio Sunshine Law, which is the reason for the proceedings in the first place, they're disregarding the court's process, which requires.
You were
that they be-
disregarding the court's process
that
by
they-
talking
that-
about
that-
something that was a pending legal action.
That they be prepared for depositions when they're representing the entity. And it was irresponsible to all of the taxpayers and to Trumbull County. Okay, so that's my discussion.
That's your opinion.
It's
Which
totally
means
your
You
nothing.
thing.
guys are going to have to either agree or disagree, and you'll be hauled into court for being ill-prepared. So we'll
Right.
see.
Right. Hauled into court by you and your attorneys to sue your own board over something
You-
meaningless.
The taxpayer dollars.
What's right?
Okay, wait a minute. I need to take the
Yeah,
vote
just
for that. Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Hey, we'll be back in a bit.
Basically, for people who are interested, Ohio Rule 37 requires that there's an attempt to resolve discovery disputes before filing something. So that's evidently why they're having an executive session. If they would have actually come prepared on the notice topics, then it wouldn't have come here. But they disregard the law, they disregard the court, they disregard sunshine. It's just a pattern of conduct, so.
Commissioner, are you ready or you want to? Okay, you'll make a motion to reconvene from executive session pursuant to RC 121.22 G3.
Second that?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Frenchco.
Yes.
Okay, that concludes our regular agenda items. Do we have anything for the good of Trumbull County from the board? I guess I'll start out. First, I want to thank the Fair Board, the Sheriff's Department, everybody involved with putting on our county fair. Attendance was up over past years with preliminary figures. We had great weather for the week. The one thing that was key is we had 100% perfect cell phone coverage. I want to thank the people that made that possible, especially our IT department. Tim Hannaford and his crew did a wonderful job out there and made sure there wasn't one complaint about cell phones. And last year we had many multiple complaints about cell phones. So that went over extremely well. The 4-H barn sale was extremely well. The numbers were extremely high for the 4-Hers this year also. Some of the prices were astronomical, and that's great for all the hard work the kids put into that. The facilities were top notch. There wasn't a blade of grass that was out of line. There wasn't a weed. So as far as the flowers, the maintenance of the place, the new roadways, the parking areas, we had no problems with that, to my knowledge. All things show it's going to be a great success. And after the Fair Board meeting, we'll have more figures to present to the public. But again, I want to commend on behalf of the board everybody that had a part in making that fair the success that it was, and look forward to the 179th fair next year.
Absolutely.
Everyone, yeah, I want to say thank you to people for coming out and buying from the kids. It's nice to see. I put out the challenge to try to get other elected officials and candidates to buy, and I saw that it was met. And I really appreciate that for the children. It's something that they work so hard for. It teaches them business skills, and it's I love it. You know where your meat products are coming from, so I'm actually have to go and make and meet someone to pick up a couple of the things here shortly. But do it, and next year if you want to buy, reach out and I'll sit with you. I'll help you. I'm actually bringing another buyer. If you give me a budget, I can actually go and bid for you too. I've done that before, and I'll do that in the future. The other thing I wanted to say is while you guys were in executive session, I got some comments about the, it seems really racist for you to mock me and talk about salsa dancing, Denny. Please don't do that. I think that if ever
That's one of your hobbies.
if ever there's something that a board member should be censured for, it should be racially motivated.
That has nothing to do with race. That's one of
Okay.
your hobbies.
Right.
That would be like you talking about me hunting or fishing or Morrow
Okay.
restauranteering or something Italian. That's one of your hobbies. It's public on the
Okay.
whole world sees it on Facebook
Sure.
every day.
Well, I would like to encourage.
If
you
I just
to-
said square dancing, it wouldn't have fit.
Sure. I
'Cause
would
that's not a hobby
I
of
would
yours.
like to encourage you to square dance or salsa or do anything that requires cardiovascular activity, because I think.
Here you
Move
go.
on.
There
Let's
you
move
go.
on.
Show your true colors, Commissioner, for the world to see.
Uh,
You just praised the 4-H kids, but you voted against them being protected at school. The same Matthews kids that sell things at the fair.
Okay.
And every school resource officer, you voted
Sorry,
no or
that's not
abstained.
correct. Okay.
It's not true?
I'm not, you know what?
It is true. You've abstained or voted no on every school resource
An
officer
example
this
by
year.
living a healthy lifestyle for the children to see elected official who actually look right and who can
You're
walk
sitting up here
around.
picking the dirt out of your fingernails while we're sitting there the whole time we're sitting here, and you're gonna criticize me? We just get a phone call to the commissioner's office about rats in your yard and their neighbors are complaining about rats.
I am.
Let's
Maintain your own, worry about your own home. Worry about your own self.
I think we should be setting.
Do we have anything else from our board?
I don't
board
know.
members up front?
No, I have to leave.
Anyone from the crowd? I see Mr. Goodman is here. Do you have something for us today, sir?
I do. I'll be brief
And
Who you are and where you're from, just for the record. I'm sorry.
my name is Jeff Goodman. I am a business owner, lawyer in Warren and Trumbull County. I would like to follow up before the two of you went off the rails there. I would like to follow up, Commissioner, on congratulating the entire board on its role in the county fair, which was a success and is each year a real showpiece for our county. And I think that's really important, and I concur with everything that you just said about how important that is for the county. And it kind of dovetails into why I am here. I am here as a longtime business owner in Trumbull County and someone who has significant real estate investments in Trumbull County. And I was very concerned by something that showed up at the county fair. And I'm certainly not saying this to detract from any of the great things that happened at the county fair. But there was a poster that was displayed at a booth. And this was not a booth that was affiliated with the commissioners in any way, but I think it affects all of us. And it certainly affects all of us who work in Trumbull County, who are invested in Trumbull County, and who have a vested interest in economic development in Trumbull County, which I know is a priority for this Board of Commissioners, for the prior Board of Commissioners. This poster depicted 13 photographs of roads and bridges in Trumbull County. And it made the absolutely inaccurate allegation that these roads and bridges were in bad condition in Trumbull County. First of all, I would encourage everyone to take a look at those photographs. They are old. They are outdated. They were taken, ironically, by supervisors working for the prior county engineer back when he was in office before he was arrested and thrown out of office. Of the 13 photographs that appeared on that poster, 12 of those roads and bridges have been completely redone, refurbished, and are in fantastic shape today. There's one photograph of a road that is scheduled for improvement later this year. Trumbull County has done an incredible job with the cooperation of this Board of Commissioners, the prior Board of Commissioners, in working on infrastructure and efficiently and responsibly using taxpayer money to accomplish that. Another thing that's so troubling about these misleading photographs that were displayed at the fair is that they were taken for the purposes of supporting an effort by the prior county engineer to raise taxes on the citizens of Trumbull County in order to work on infrastructure.
Question.
Let me finish.
Did you find the poster? Because I'm curious
The
about.
poster was out at the fair. And I don't want to name names because I don't want to make this political. I don't want to make this political.
That's why I'm asking you.
I'm not here for political purposes. I'm here because the current administration, the current county engineer, the current commissioners have worked on our infrastructure problems, have solved these infrastructure problems. without ever raising taxes on the citizens of Trumbull County. And I think that speaks volumes about what's going on in Trumbull County. And it speaks volumes about the job that our current engineer is doing. And it is extremely troubling to me that, first of all, these photographs were taken for the purpose of trying to support a tax increase by the prior engineer. And secondly, that this misleading information would be disseminated at the Trumbull County Fair, which, as I think we can all agree, is a vehicle for highlighting the great aspects of our community and goes directly toward economic development. And that impacts every one of us who is a business owner and a property owner in Trumbull County. I thought it was important to bring that to the attention of this board and to bring it to the public's attention, that this kind of disinformation is out there. It's dishonest, it's irresponsible, and I hope that it doesn't continue. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Auditor Yoder?
Martha Yoder, Trumbull County Auditor. This week, you guys, or the board received from me, just written report and spreadsheets printed out. I left those in the office yesterday for each of you. And I wasn't planning on getting up today, but I do have now a question because Attorney Rogers did, and you should have received an opinion letter on Veterans Outreach last evening. She did say that they are eligible for $90,000. They had originally requested $90,000 for capital improvements, but she has her opinion letter states that they're eligible for $90,000 programming rather than the capital improvements requested. My question for the commissioners is, do you want me to request the resolution and agreement for next week?
Yes, yes.
And then just the second thing, it's not ARPA related. As we talked about the fair, I did assist with the commissioner's booth, some of my staff and myself, and I happened to be there on the last night. So I know the total that we had come to the booth was 1,012.
Wow.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Auditor Yoder.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning,
Bill
Bill.
Hart, Trumbull County Maintenance. Just to give you an update on an issue that happened over the weekend of our serving room going down. We're in the midst of getting it fixed, repaired, replaced with all new items in, so we don't have to worry about an issue that we are having right now happening again. So we are working our butts off to make sure that all the system that down there is replaced with new and add extra stuff down there. So we have a system that will run on and off. So we could have a new system, 10-ton unit, run 3 months, shut down, let another one pick up so we don't burn up one system, run 24/7, 360 a year. So that's what we're doing in our system, just to keep you guys, commissioners, up to speed on what's happening downstairs on the 3rd floor.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you. I appreciate it.
One other thing too, yesterday, they had the dedication or the receiving of the new C-130J Super Hercules aircraft. It was highly attended by most of the community leaders in the community. Probably 250 people or so were there. It was a pretty awesome sight. If you saw it flying in the skies yesterday, the speeches were great by the military personnel that were there and Senator Sherrod Brown. It's a long time coming. A lot of people made that happen over many, many years. And hopefully this will secure our air base and the jobs of those that work at the air base and the security of the country that they perform every day well into the future here in the Mahoning Valley. And I was pleased to see so many people from the community that were there to welcome it. I am a little dismayed. There were some people from the community, some entities that weren't there that I thought should have been there. We didn't have any of the Mahoning County commissioners, and although it's it's the air base for Youngstown Warren Regional. It would have been nice. I don't understand why they weren't there, and there was no one from the city of Warren. Not to call anyone in particular, But the largest city in the county that hosts the base, maybe they had schedule conflicts or whatever it was, but we had all small entities. I believe we even had Cortland in their whole council. We had representation from Hubbard and many trustees from across the county and all the economic entities. And it was really great to see the county come together in support of the program there.
Yeah, and that was the first of 8. So there will be 8 of those aircrafts there, and it should yield, I think the figure was $1 billion. I have notes into our economy as a result of what they're doing there. It is hoped, after talking to some of the staff there, that they will be able to attract that the air reserve station for additional training now that we have they've located or selected us to have those. So we're going to have increased everything over there. I'm excited too, because being able to see work and advocacy come full circle, from lobbying for it, advocating, and then being there to see them arrive, was fantastic. So I'm grateful that there are so many people involved in making that happen, and that the federal government selected our Youngstown Air Reserve Station for that. That was our main priority. There were some issues with the hangars and so many other things, and we made sure that our YARS was the place that they picked. And a lot of it was because of the showing of community support. I'm grateful to have been there and to have been a part of that advocacy.
Okay, anybody else have anything for the good of Trumbull County?
Make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.